Hi, since we have a few new viewers here, I thought I'd just do a quick introduction to my Jeep adventure. First of all, it's not really a Jeep. Underneath it's a Toyota Landcruiser from around 1976, but with a 5.7 litre V8 Chevy engine and a Jeep shell to cover it up. I've spent as much or more time fixing it as I've spent driving it. Every fix I make is hopefully a permanent improvement, like building new diff and shock brackets when the old ones broke, disassembling the front differential and then reassembling it because it was not broken. You get the picture. So this time a punctured radiator hose makes me want to rebuild the whole cooling system. I have a new fan. Right, so that's the new fan in its place. Got new radiator hose. Well, while I was at it, I decided to redo the radiator. So I had a custom radiator made for the Jeep. This is it. So the shape is all different and the size is all different. That means that some fabrication will be needed here. To check that it actually fits correctly. This is the top radiator hose. I probably need to replace this as well, and I still want to replace the thermostat housing. The radiator is going to move a little bit, so I needed more length in the pipe so I could move it to the required position. So they sent me this, and I will have to just cut it to size. This one is a bit heavier than the old one, but what they've done is they've given me these brackets that bolts on there because I couldn't give them exactly how it's going to fit. So I can now work with this. It's a 3-core, so it's quite thick. It's about 50. So the old fan was sitting on the old radiator off to one side and below the radiator. So this one is slightly smaller, but I'm thinking that I can get a bit better cooling because the new fan and the new radiator is going to line up perfectly. I hope. That's the plan. So let's see if that is the case. I'm just going to make it line up perfectly. So the radiator needs to drop down. Now those two rubber bump stops at the bottom there, I'm going to take them out, cut off the spacer that has been inserted there, and that will drop the radiator down. And left to right, I'll move it into position so it lines up correctly. The radiator hose will clear that. That will line up, and this will line up once it drops down. But this will line up once it drops down, goes in and there. And then I just need to work out the clearance of the radiator to the fan. You know, this Jeep has got some nice places to put tools in. Now you know why the Land Rover Defenders have such nice big wheel arches flat on top with a checkered plate. You know. Right, so what's happening here is that this rubber bump stop, the radiator sits on top of this, and I want to lower it by that much. I might even cut the rubber a little bit down, but what's basically going to happen is I'm going to cut this off, which was welded on afterwards anyway, cut it off, drop the rubber bump stop down to this point where it seems to have been in the past. Maybe, I don't know, so much about this is unknown. So put those out. Now to see again what it looks like dropping into its position, into its new resting place. I suspect I might have to cut a little bit of that. Alright, so I need to get the radiator into that corner, so I might just cut that corner. Now I know there's a good reason why there's a radius there, and that's not to have a stress riser in that area. But I can mitigate that by drilling a hole to make a radius and then cutting just up to that radius. As for the height, perfect. The fan will be, I don't even have to drop all the way down, and left and right, it's in the middle. Right, we are going to cut this spacer off here that was welded on. And the rubber is going to go in what looks like maybe an original hole, dropping down how much? Dropping down the height by 52 millimeters, and that's exactly what we want. So we'll cut that. Alright, so the rubber bump stop goes on there, bolts on that. Now for this cutout, like I said, I want to keep a radius, so I'm going to drill a, that looks about right. Okay, got that done. This goes there, this goes there. Alright, I'm going to try a different approach. I have to see how it works. I want to say now, oh well, let's just tighten it up. I don't want to have to fish for that again. That not stripped yet. Click. Now to get that off. That's the problem. Now the shifting's in there. Maybe I can lever it off. Look, I could have probably taken off the winch and make it a bit easier. Not much, but a little bit. But then it would have been too easy. And oh, by the way, the long bolt was the only one with a lock nut on it. That's why I didn't want to turn my hand. Okay, that one in. Click. Right, so they're in. I might need to drill new holes for the rubber, maybe. Plenty of space. Just make it slightly larger with a file. Yeah, it's really hard. It shouldn't sound like that on mild steel. It's not touching anything to the radiator, only the brackets touching. The tank is on the rubber at the bottom, but I'm gonna not put pressure on that. So now that is my clearance. Right, so this will be the first bracket. So I'm making this bracket out of stainless steel. So this is a piece of scrap stainless steel that I had lying around in the scrap yard. Now this will be enough. One of these will be enough. And then I'll make the other one out of that side, and that's the narrower one. This, just check again. 153. Ooh, I was not as straight as I thought I was being. But it doesn't need to be a sharp bend, it can be a rounded. But the scrap piece I found is so close to the shape I need. So let's see, this is what's going to happen. This is going to bolt onto the radiator, and that's going to slide in there. That's how it's going to fit. That'll bolt to the radiator. I take this plate off, bolt it on, drill holes here for this one, and that's it then. Now the same for that one. That straightened it up almost completely. Right, so this bracket goes in there. Then this side, other way around. It's still too tight. Right, so let's test the brackets out. Test fit number 52, I think, or something in that region. I'm not going to worry about forwards and backwards position now for the moment. That comes later. That goes in there, approximately like that. So first I'll measure and mark these, drill those holes, put bolts in, same here. Then I'll adjust the radiator to the exact forward-backward position to get the clearance for the fan right. And when I've got that adjustment right, checking for clearance there and there, then I'll mark the holes in the side plate. Then I'll unbolt everything, unbolt these, drill those holes, bolt that plate to that plate. And bolt these plates onto the radiator, and then the radiator can slot in, just slide down into its position. Now the process of getting this inside, and it's hot, it's been lying in the sun. Ouch. Ouch. Okay. Well, it almost looks like it's in position. Right, let's start getting everything in place. Right, so the GoPro died on me. It's really, I think, on its last legs. It's actually working now for a change. The radiator is in. I have one slight problem, and that is that when I lower the bonnet, I need to align this still. Then it just touches on the radiator cap there. So I'll just see if I can space it here and see what modification I need to do. This was always a concern. Okay, so the plan is to replace this because it's really badly corroded here, falling apart. To replace it with this one. Right, I'm afraid my GoPro started dying on me. I tried to get it going, but I was on the roll with the work, so I finished it. This is hitting there. I still have to cut that light, but that will be another project. Let's see what it does. It hasn't started in, I don't know, a while. So, here, hold on.
like I have fairly good suction there. Slightly less at the top, good at the bottom, fairly good all over. Clearance. Not much clearance. It's still just under 80. It's working, it's staying at 80, it went up to 80 now. It might have been an 80-degree thermostat, I can't remember, I'll have to look it up. It's running, ready for more adventures. We'll see you on the next one, cheers.